Part 2 of Bava 68a with the words Kedamar Rav Nachman. The Gemara rejects as proof the explanation for the Braita. Rav Nachman said in reference to a different Braita. Rav Nachman said that when the Braita speaks of a sale that cannot be undone, this excludes one who transferred ownership of the animal to another in a temporary manner. For example, for 30 days. Here too, one can answer in the same way that it excludes one who transferred ownership of the animal for 30 days. Accordingly, if one sold the animal permanently, if the sale was performed before the owner despaired and is therefore not legally binding, he is nevertheless required to pay the fourfold or fivefold payment. The Gemara raises an objection from another Braita. If one stole an animal and another person subsequently came and stole it from him, the first thief pays a double payment to the owner, and the second thief pays only the principal to the first thief. This is because one who steals from a thief does not pay the double payment, as the Mishnah teaches. If one stole an animal and sold it, and another individual came and stole it from the purchaser, the first thief pays the fourfold or fivefold payment to the owner, and the second thief pays the double payment to the purchaser, who has become the new owner of the animal. If one stole an animal and slaughtered it, and another person came and stole and slaughtered the animal, the first thief pays the fourfold or fivefold payment to the owner, and the second thief does not pay the double payment, but only the principal, in accordance with the halacha that one who steals from a thief does not pay the double payment. The Gemara analyzes Braita. In any event, the Braita teaches in the middle clause, if one stole an animal and sold it, and another came and stole it from the purchaser, the first thief pays the fourfold or fivefold payment to the owner, and the second thief pays the double payment to the purchaser. When did this sale occur? When did the sale occur? If we say it happened before the owner's despair, why does the second thief pay the double payment to the purchaser? Is there anyone who says that a change in possession of a stolen item, that is, when it leaves the possession of the thief and enters the possession of another, without the additional factor of the owner's despair, causes the one who has to acquire the item? There is no such opinion. Therefore, the so-called purchaser of the animal does not become its owner, as the sale is invalid. This should be considered as a case of one who steals from a thief, and consequently there should be no double payment. Rather, it is obvious that the sale occurred after the owner's despair, and if it enters your mind that a thief acquires a stolen item after the owner's despair, why should the first thief pay the fourfold payment? After all, it is his own animal that he sold, having acquired it immediately upon the owner's despair. And furthermore, consider that which the Braita teaches in the first clause. If one stole an animal and another subsequently came and stole it from him, the first thief pays the double payment to the owner, and the second thief pays only the principal to the first thief. Now, in this Braita, we are dealing with a situation after the owner's despair, as the Gemara just established, and if it enters your mind that the owner's despair causes the thief to acquire the item, why does the second thief pay only the principal? After the owner has despaired of acquiring the item, the thief becomes the owner of the item, and the second thief should have to pay him double payment for stealing his property. Rather, one must not conclude from the Braita that the owner's despair does not cause the thief to acquire the item, and this presents a difficulty to the opinion of Rav. Rav said, "Can you understand? Are we on? Hold on here. We're on 68. Good. To the opinion of Rav. Hey, Rava said, and can you understand the text of this Braita is accurate? And can you understand that the text of this Braita is accurate? But consider that which it teaches in the last clause: if one stole an animal and slaughtered it, and another came and stole the animal, the first thief pays the fourfold or fivefold payment to the owner, and the second thief pays only the principal to the first thief. And is there anyone who says that a physical change brought about by an action does not cause the thief to acquire the item? There is no such opinion. The thief certainly becomes the owner, and the animal after slaughtering it. Consequently, the thief should have to pay the double payment to the thief for stealing his slaughtered animal. It must therefore be concluded that the text of the Braita has been corrupted and must be reformulated. Rather, actually, the entire Braita is referring to the stage before the owner's despair, and you must reverse the halacha stated in the last clause with that stated in the middle clause, and reverse the halacha stated in the middle clause with that stated in the last clause. And you must say like this: if one stole an animal and sold it, and another came and stole it from the purchaser, the first thief pays the fourfold or fivefold payment to the owner, and the second thief pays only the principal to the purchaser. As a change in the possession without the additional factor of the owner's despair does not cause one to acquire the item. If one stole an animal and slaughtered it, and another came and stole the slaughtered animal, the first thief pays a fourfold or fivefold payment to the owner, and the second thief pays the double payment to the first thief, as the first thief acquired it through a physical change brought about by an action, that is, a slaughter. Rav Papa said, actually, do not reverse the middle and last clause of the Braita. With regard to the difficult last clause, it is in accordance with the opinion of Beis Shammai, who say, even if an item has undergone a physical change, it remains in its place. A stolen item remains the property of the owner. A thief never attains ownership of it, even if it undergoes a physical change. The Gemara asks if so, if the Braita is not reversed, and if it is referring to the stage after the owner's despair, then the first clause and the middle clause of the Braita present a difficulty to the opinion of Rav, who maintains that after the owner's despair, the item belongs entirely to the thief. Rav Zvid said, actually, the entire Braita is dealing with the stage before the owner's despair. And with what are we dealing here? In the middle clause of the Braita, we are dealing with the case where the owner despaired of recovering the item when it was already in possession of the purchaser, but it had not yet despaired when... I'm not going to despair by doing this daf, okay? I'm going to do this daf, I'm not going to despair, okay? When the item was in the possession of the thief, even if I have to sing it, the purchaser is considered the owner, because after the despair occurred, the kitzer is back and forth, it's all the same thing. Spare, no spare, owner, there were two factors in play, but the owner's despair and a change in possession, the combination of these two factors affects the acquisition of the item on behalf of the purchaser. Okay, continue. Rav Zvid continues, and do not say that in the middle of the clause the reason the owner's item is acquired by another is only because we require two factors, the owner's despair and change of possession. Rather, even in the case of the owner's despair by itself, the item is acquired by the thief in accordance with Rav's opinion that despair alone affects acquisition on behalf of the thief. Nevertheless, the Brisa chose a case in which both of these factors are present, because you will not find a case in which both of them, the first thief and the second thief, pay a penalty, except in such a case the first thief pays the fourfold or fivefold payment, and the second thief pays the double payment. Had the owner despaired before the sale, the first thief would have been considered the owner and would therefore be exempt from additional payment. It was stated with regard to the thief who sells a stolen animal before the owner's despair. Nachman says he is liable to pay a fourfold or fivefold payment, despite the fact that the sale is invalid. Rav Shesha said he is exempt from this payment. Rav Nachman says he's chayev. Rav Nachman says he's liable to. Right? Rabbi Nachman says he's liable because the merciful one states with regard to the fourfold of payment and slaughter it or sell it, Exodus 21:37, and he has sold it. There is no difference if the sale occurs before the despair, and there is no difference if it takes place after the despair. Rav Sheshes says he is exempt, and his liability is in effect if he sells the animal after the owner's despair when his action, that is, the sale, is effective. But if he sells it before the owner's despair when his action is not effective, he is not liable, as we require that the sale be similar to the slaughter as they are mentioned together. And when he slaughters the animal, his action is ineffective. Rav Sheshes said, from where do I know? Nice, we're almost done. Rav Sheshes said, from where do I know that he... From where do I... Rav Sheshes said, from where do I say he is exempt? As it is taught in a Braita. Rabbi Akiva said, for what reason did the Torah say that a thief who slaughtered or sold a stolen animal pays a fourfold final payment? It is because he has become entrenched in sin by slaughtering or selling the animal he stole. Rav Sheshes analyzes the Braita. When did this sale referred to by Rabbi Akiva occur? If we say it happened before the owner's despair, it is possible that there is any... Is it possible that there is any entrenchment in sin here? A sale before the owner's despair is invalid, which means there is no deepening of his earlier sin. Rather, is it not the case that this is referring to a sale after the owner's despair? Rava said this is not proof, as one can explain that the thief is entrenched in sin because he repeated his sin. That is, he sinned a second time by his act of sale, regardless of the fact that the sale is invalid. The Gemara suggests coming here a proof for the opinion of Rav Sheshet from a different Braita. It is written, and slaughter it or sell it, Exodus 21:37. Just as slaughter is an act that cannot be undone, so too the selling referred to here is an act that cannot be undone. The Gemara analyzes Braita. When did this sale take place? If we say that it happened before the owner's despair of recovering the stolen item, why can it not be undone? The thief's sale of the animal is invalid before the owner's despair, and therefore the sale is easily undone. Rather, it must be referring to a sale that took place after the owner's despair, and one can conclude from the Braita that there is a liability to pay the fourfold of full payment only if the animal is sold after the owner's despair. Of Nachman rejected this proof, as he interpreted the Braita as serving to exclude one who transferred the ownership of the animal temporarily, for example, 30 days. The Gemara adds, Rabbi Elazar holds that the liability of a thief to pay the fourfold or fivefold payment applies if he sells it after the owner's despair of recovering the stolen animal. As Rabbi Eliezer says,